This is the Vlookup function. Here is an example. Here we see the Vlookup function, which requires a reference field for us to look at, a table from which we will get our values, and the field within the table. The last value we should set as false. Looking at our table, we have a table of name of people, the state where they come from, the company they work for, and the car that they drive. We've named this table people. And as you see here, I highlighted the table, and here is where the name comes up, people. Now, here is the reference field, and here are our Vlookup values. So looking here, the state field is using the Vlookup function to reference C16, the reference field, which is this, C16. It's looking at the people table in field 2, and we'll set the last to false. Going to the company, we're referencing C16 field in the people table in the field number 3 for company, and we had set the last value to be false. For the car, we use the Vlookup function to reference the C16 field right here. It references the people table. It looks at field 4, and the last value is false. So here, let's look at this. Let's type in Richard, and before I hit enter, let's see what should come up. Richard, Louisiana State, Company, Army, Car, Toyota. So when I hit enter, this should say Louisiana. It's referring to field 2. The company should say Army. It's referring to field 3. And the car should say Ford. It's referring to field 4. So I'm going to hit enter. Louisiana, Army, Toyota. Now let's look at David. As we see here in the table, California is the state, Boeing is the company, Mazda is the car. So when we hit enter, California is the state, Boeing is the company, and Mazda is the car. Now we look at Samuel. When it references the table for Samuel, Texas is the state, Dell is the company, and Nissan is the car. Texas, Dell, and Nissan. Let's put in Roy. Roy is not in the table, so therefore it does not know what to give us. It says it's not applicable. So we'll go back and put in the original name Ann. Kentucky Lockheed Ford, Kentucky Lockheed 4, and that's how the function works. Now, how do we create this? Okay, so first we have our table. Let's call our table people2. So we highlighted this table of ours, just the data portion, not the headings, just the data portion, and we are going to call it people2. Now let's place the Vlookup for state. Oh, let's go ahead and just put a name in. Richard. Okay. We'll put the name in. Now we'll use the Vlookup to look up the state. So we'll put in equal V lookup, and we're going to look in this reference field for the name, comma. We're going to refer to the people2 table. So we'll type in people, and as you see, it offers which tables are available for the Vlookup function to look at. So we're going to look at people2. Now we're going to try to figure out what column or field we need to look in to get to the state. The state is in field 2, so we'll put 2. And we'll make this last one false. Hit enter. So here, Richard from the state of Washington. Now let's put in company. Vlookup reference field in C16. We will refer to the table array people2. And then the column field that we're looking at for company is 3. And then we'll just put in false for the last value. So see here, Richard, State of Washington, Company, Navy. And finally the car. We'll put in Vlookup, the field that we're looking at, comma, the reference field, and the table people2, the field at which we will get the information for the car, which is 4, and we'll make the last value false. So Richard, Washington, Navy, Honda. Richard, Washington, Navy, Honda. So let's go to David. We should get David, Oregon, NASA, Chevy. So we'll enter that. David, Oregon, NASA, Chevy. Put in Ann. New York, Apple, GMC. New York, Apple, GMC. We'll put in Samuel. Florida, Google, Mercedes. We'll hit enter. Florida, Google, Mercedes. And that's how the Vlookup function works.